which does contain none values, that you do need to use a specific mask to point it out to openEO. That's one I would need to dig into a bit myself, but at least for the datasets which we offer on Copernicus, where we have this integration with also, which are easily integrated within openEO, I know that if there's missing data or if there's none data, that openEO knows I shouldn't process them.
Mm-hmm. So this solution is better than the one where we could write the formula for NDVI in a similar way as you did it for the enhanced vegetation index in that example before?
I think better really depends on your use case. In this case, for instance, for this composite, I made a decision I want to use as much input data as I can possibly use. So I set a very low max cloud cover. So a very low cloud cover. So I load in a lot of data. And then even if and then within those boxes, if they are if there are pixels with clouds, I still throw them away. But even if you have, let's say, month June as fourth where you don't have any clouds, where you have very sparse clouds, either way, it doesn't make sense to process them if you have clouds. So in all cases, I would use a dilation mask to remove the clouds, because you'll process in the end less pixels with openEO, so your job cost would become lower. Else, you'll be calculating the NDVI of cloud pixel values, so the output you'll get there is also nonsensical.
Yes.
So the best thing is always to limit as much pixels which you actually want to, that you actually need to process.
Yes. So just to get back, if instead of this line where you have S2 cube.ndvi, if we would have some other kind of computation that would take the values from the cube, do we need to handle the non-values explicitly?
I don't think so, but best way is simply to test, and if there's an issue, to contact us on the forum.
Okay.
But so yeah, the alternative here, you could have also done S2 cube is I load in much more sparse data, and I don't do any masking. You could also do that. Then you have less time points on which you calculate the aggregate temporal period, potentially, and you'll also calculate it on some clouded pixels. So this might influence here your mean value, because you'll include wrong NDVI calculations on clouded pixels and calculate the mean over them. So I think the best way here in this case is to really remove the clouded pixels.
Yes, it's just a technical point that I wanted to discuss. It's opportunity for that, so that's the reason.
No. So I see Maxime also still raised his hands.
Yes, if you can explain us, maybe not too much in depth, but a little bit those parameters, because I see mask 1 values, mask 2 values, different kernel sizes, so it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest on this is these parameters were fine-tuned by the application team. So they told me, hey, we want to use these settings and these kernels to create a mask, and these should then be valid. What I can do is I can try to dig up some more information on this to SCL dilation mask. Give me a second, and we can actually discuss what's happening. Let's see. So now browsing the backend here to find the code. Okay, here I can show, do I have a very nice output image? Let's see. So openEO processes. Come on. I'm not sharing my screen, right? Sorry. Let me share my screen. So I know to SCL dilation mask is a bit of an experimental feature, so I'm trying to find the relevant information here. SCL mask. Then nothing left to do to go to the actual backend code. openEO. Let's take a look at the openEO processes, because it's an openEO process. See if I can find here some information. SCL. Yeah, I'll simply take a look this evening and I'll provide the information. I don't fully understand why it's not added here just yet. So I'll need to check with the team to find where the actual definition is, and then tomorrow we can discuss it.
Maxim, if I can add, Hans, can I add just a word regarding this?
The values?
I just wanted to say, Maxim, that it's probably related to image opening. You have erosion and dilatation. So two operations, and the integers that are there are probably some kind of flags that denote certain bits that are active in the case of cloud mask. So you should probably you should probably look at data description product for Sentinel, and also regarding the kernel size, it's as Hans said, empirically determined that the size is adequate.
What I do know indeed, you have the erosion and the dilation. So this is one to remove small speckles. So you have a first kernel to remove a bit of noise, and then you have a larger kernel to smoothen it out. And then you have these mask values. These are actual values of the SCL layer. So if you go to the Sentinel-2 SCL information, okay, here for instance, Sentinel Hub has some information on it. We can take a look. What is this SCL layer actually doing? Well, it does some in real-time classification of Sentinel-2 data. So in total, we have 11 classes. And it tries to detect, for instance, snow or ice, medium probability for clouds, high probability, what's vegetation, what's not vegetation, what's cloud shadows. So if we then cross-reference, we can make some estimated guess. Mask value 1 is 2 to 7. So 2 to 7, then we see some dark shadows, which is cloud-related, cloud shadows, vegetation, non-vegetation, and unclassified. So these are incorporated in the first mask. And then in the second mask, 3, 8, 9, 10. So we have more the probability. So I'll do some digging this evening to figure out what it exactly does. But yeah, I need to understand what the mask value 1 and what mask value 2 relationship is. But I'll comment on that tomorrow.
it's probably a union of these sets.
Yeah, but I want to understand why these unions are made indeed. Okay. Any other questions or comments? I still see your hand raised.
Because I just wanted to comment to say that you did a great job today, and I would like to thank you in the name of people from Novi Sad for organizing the presentation and everything.
Okay, thank you. If there's any other feedback, I also hope that this second part addressed the question on hey, can we work it out together? That's the plan that we took a look at what the eventual solution might have been. And then if not, then I think we can end today's session. By the way, I did find in the meantime the core definition of the mask SEL dilation, but it's really in the Scala code. So it's an openEO.process.scala add 2 SEL dilation masks. So probably I'm now looking here at this pull request at this file. I'll do a bit of digging here to fully understand what the different mask values are doing. So indeed, we here see this erosion kernel for a certain window size, as we discussed. We see some convolutional filters, and then we see that they create some mask based on certain values. But I'll try to get a bit more information on the size of Y of 2 separate binary masks and how they're processed separately. But yeah, it's really defined in the Scala backend, which is also not my expertise. So I'll inform with the team and I'll give you a more pointed answer tomorrow.
Okay, well, I think that we can say thank you, Hans, for today. So actually, I guess if people are still with questions or maybe some things come up, if you're still working with the examples of today, Hans, should we put your email in the chat? And then, or maybe you can, I don't know if people can contribute to the chats after the session closes, but if you still have questions, I guess
tomorrow we can just start with a small question round, and then you also have the forum, which I showed on comparative because there you might get much faster response than if everything goes through me.
Did you share the forum maybe?
Yeah.
Then we can add that, and I think the forum is a great place to add some questions too. Because tomorrow in the afternoon, there's still going to be a session of Hans. So if questions come up, it's definitely a good chance to still ask that. Or if you run into things that were happening from the example today. So let's do some, I hope this works. I would like to end the day with a poll again. I have to check if this works. Maybe it was already released this morning, but if I do share, let's see. Now I'm sharing my screen, I think. Stop sharing. Strange. Reopen poll. I think. Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys can see in the chat now the third question. That should be the one that we would have to, or I would like to have your. Is again the fourth question, I think. View poll. Can everybody go to the third question in the poll? I'm not sure. Can someone speak up and say if they can?
Yes.
The sun is. I don't think. Oh.
Yeah, I can. Good, Norman. Oh,
It's not opening.
it's not opening. Okay. Yeah, this.
I don't have a problem with it.
You can.
If I
Well,
go
I
to
think
view poll,
Hans-
I can go through the
I don't hear it.
questions.
Huh? If you pull out your mic, I can hear as well.
Ah, okay. Sorry, 1 second. We're in the same room, and it kind of gives the.
Heb jij je geluid opgezet?
Nee, dus ik was aan het rekenen op de nu.
Oké, maar dan moet je uw afzetten, hè?
Ja, dat van mij staat af.
Oké. Zie dat werkt niet. No.
Sorry. Excuse me for this.
Het werkt.
Nee, maar ik hoor ons dubbel.
Ah, echt? Oké, dan zal ik mijn geluid kunnen aanzetten.
Okay. Again then. Sorry. I'm going to just ask the questions then, because I don't think it works with the poll, I guess. So I think I'm just going to ask the questions like that, and I maybe like you can do a reaction. Maybe raise your hand if you are, or send a heart if you are really affirmative with what I'm saying, or send raise your hand if it's neutral, or say nothing when you are not really agreeing with it. So were you very happy with how this first day was organized and how the openEO workshop was presented? Did you learn something? Okay, interesting. I only saw 3 reactions, so it's not really a good sample, I would say, but if some other people still want to. Okay. Okay, so I didn't see a lot of reactions. I'm also, this with the poll is a bit difficult, that it's not really responding. So I guess that we might just have to skip the poll for now, and hopefully we can try to make this issue, fix it for tomorrow, that we can use the poll for some questions. Anyway, I guess tomorrow in the morning, I will just repeat that in the morning. I will start with a presentation that everyone is is welcome. So also people with no IT background. Actually, this is going to be a presentation that looks at our habitat mapping with an ecological perspective. So I'm going to touch upon principles from remote sensing data, satellite data, in situ data, and so on, classification typologies, and so on. So this is going to be just a good presentation, I guess, to get us all on the same line. So we also know some thematic background about why we're doing the habitat mapping and so on. And then in the second phase, so first presentation, I think, is from 9 until 10:30, something like that. Then in the second round is from 10 to, or a quarter to 11 to 12:30 or something. And that one is going to be really kind of guiding through the code that we have for the habitat mapping in openEO, and some parts still offline, so not on openEO. And I will guide you through it with my presentation, and you will really see in the code some snippets that are referring to some parts that Hans has explained today. And also in the next half of tomorrow, so after in the afternoon, he will talk more about the model inference, so running the model on an entire study area to create your probability maps and habitat map at the end. So it's going to be a bit of a compilation of my presentation, and then again Hans finishing up the day with again some more in-depth openEO principles. But in general, this presentation or this workshop should give you very good beginning or start or insights about how this habitat mapping in openEO functions. So are there any other questions about today or tomorrow or something else? Please speak up or raise your hands.
Just so the links
I
don't
think
get lost,
no
is
questions.
it possible?
So I want to say again, thank you, Hans, because it's not easy to explain openEO. It's a difficult topic, but I guess everybody understands how important and also interesting it is to work with it. So Maya, maybe you want to finish the day or say something to wrap it up?
Actually, I just wanted to ask you, so if in the chance that the links from the chat get lost, is it possible for you to send an email afterwards with the chat or with the links for tomorrow or something? Or just copy the chat or something like that?
Yeah, sure. We'll definitely also, after the workshop, going to make a compilation of the presentations as well. So would you prefer to have that all together or also?
Yeah, all together is fine, just so it doesn't get lost. That's the main idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely make sure that the links for the Jupyter notebooks and so on, and also the web editor will be compiled in a file. And maybe it's easiest if I share that after, like with everything together with the presentations, or do you prefer to have that already in the afternoon or today?
No need to have it today, other than if the people need to prepare for the work tomorrow, then it may be useful to have them. But other than that, it's fine to just send everything together after tomorrow is done.
Okay, well, I think there's not need for a preparation, but I'm looking at Hans. I think there's not really need for preparation, but only maybe just if people want to still make the example work today, I can definitely still send that in together.
Yeah, I think we'll go into more detail on the on bringing your own processing. So if you have your own recipes for data processing, how you can incorporate it in openEO, for instance, with machine learning. That I think that's going to be it.
Okay, so this is going to be quite a different start. There's no need to prepare in any case.
Understood.
I will start working on that compilation of all the things, and then I can send it tomorrow with the presentations afterwards. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you for joining this workshop. It wasn't an easy day, I think. It's a lot of new things, but yeah, we will get there. So I think that's the end of today. Thank you for joining, and see you all tomorrow around a bit before 9 o'clock.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Lassen, dat hebben we overleefd.
Ja. Oh.
Wat hè?
Ja, het is wel veel van die poll.
Ah, zo. Wow.
Ja, maar ik heb niet echt een reactie van kunnen krijgen.
Ja, maar ik denk gewoon als je... Dat komt toch in je chat naar voren? Want als ik...
Maar alleen de laatste...
Ja, ik weet niet hoe dat met die multipolls werkt, maar als je één vraag stelt, dan komt het gewoon in de chat en dan kunnen mensen antwoorden en dan kun je weer een nieuwe poll maken.
Maar, want Eline had gezegd, ik heb ze alle 3 of allemaal apart gezet, maar dat zag ik niet zo.
Nee, dat was 1 in 4 en je kon ineens allemaal beantwoorden, maar mensen konden ook later doorklikken en dan...
Dus misschien hadden ze al gereageerd. Maar ja, dan...
Ja, maar dat was dan zinloos inderdaad om al te reageren.
Ja, wat vond je ervan?
Ik ben goed. Ik heb 4, 5, 6 mensen waren nu van, deze werkt niet, waarom doe je dat, waarom doe je dat? En soms was het voor mij, bijvoorbeeld het lastige was voor mij met die MySQL inderdaad, ik ken de wetenschap echt niet welke waarden waar worden gebruikt. En dat is een heel experimenteel proces. En nu is gekomen om een oud proces te vervangen dat kapot was. Dus ja, dan is dat wel mogelijk van, oké, zit ik in die Scala-code?
Zo'n dingen, dat is ook niet... Je gaat het nu niet maken. Zo, dan moet je gewoon weten.
Ja, had er toch 4, 5 mensen. Ik denk die ene, die wou gewoon naar notebooks kijken. Die dacht ik vooral, jij bent geïrriteerd dat er wordt op u gevraagd om nu effectief iets te doen.
Ja, die ene, die eerste.
Ja, dat ik dacht van, maar doe het dan niet, je zit ook aan. We zitten nu te klagen.
Want het is obviously wel gewerkt voor andere mensen.
Ja, dus die...
Ik heb het gevoel dat die nemen vaak dingen heel letterlijk. Zo, precies alsof je geeft die notebooks, dat zij denken, ik moet door die helemaal van begin tot eind gaan. Terwijl het meer is zo stukjes zoeken, die datacube, dat is belangrijk. En connectie maken. En weten wanneer je iets moet saven en zo verder.
Dus ik denk daarom, dat laatste deel was ook gepland. Van oké, nu gaan we het samen doen. Ik hoop dat het voor hen ook verhelderend was. Van kijk, dat is een tool voor jullie om gewoon te zoeken, te knippen, te plakken. En probeer iets uit en zie of dat werkt. Als het niet werkt, contacteer ons.
Ik denk dat sommigen misschien niet zo goed zijn nu beginnen. Maar eigenlijk hadden ze gewoon een notebook daar.
Ja, degene die ik had getoond, als je die allemaal wist staan, dan kon het eruit geraken. Dus.
Want wat zij nu vroeg, het was eigenlijk... ik ga even opslaan. Ik heb wel zelf ook wat zo'n notities van... sowieso, als jij je PowerPoint ook kunt doorsturen of zo naar mij.
Ik heb die links in dat Word-document gezet.
Oh, oké, ja.
Dus van de main dingen die ik presenteer, van de 3 grote notebooks en van de PowerPoint-presentaties zijn dat Word-documenten.
Oké, wacht, ik heb nog... ja. Ja, die openEO community examples. Dan getting started. En dan... ik denk dat inderdaad wel... Dat zijn de voornaamste 2, hè. Dus die community examples. Ja, daar heb je dan die 2 zo... Of daar heb je eigenlijk allemaal soorten...
Ja, je kunt daar overal dan in C is dan een goede link om met te starten. En dan kunnen die van die cubes en clouds nog toevoegen.
Ja.
Allee, morgen ben ik al aan de nabedag.
Waar is het geen mol?
Ja. Dus dat is goed dat ik in de nabedag ben. Want echt om 9 uur ben ik nooit in de...
Nooit?
Nee, ik ben er pas om 9:30. Maar wij blijven wel laat. Want...
Sorry, maar ik heb nog nooit zo... Ik heb die meeting nog niet met record.
Zolang er iemand in blijft, blijft er recorden.
En dan stopt hij en dan, want ik zie wel inderdaad zo een...
Wat hè?
Dat zeg jij, maar...
Zit ik nog in die call?
Nee.
Zolang er iemand in die call zit, blijft er recorden.
En dan gaat hij gewoon op.
Het zal wel een max limiet hebben, maar eigenlijk moet iemand op stop record duwen. Ik denk dat dat Eline is. Want die heeft die call gestart. Maar...